Peace and blessings, y'all, in this corner boxing 24. Good evening, good evening. How's everyone doing this evening? Hope everybody's doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good on this side as always. God is great, God is good, and I can't complain. So what I want to talk about tonight is a good fight that's coming up in March 11th, between Tony Superbad Harrison, former junior middleweight champion, and Tim Tszyu, who's the son of the former junior welterweight champion, Costa Tszyu, from Australia. And, they fight March 11th. Tim Tszyu is the WBO mandatory challenger for Jermell Charlo's belt, and he was slated to fight Jermell Charlo, but Jermell Charlo had an injury to his hand. They were supposed to fight in January, actually. He had an injury to his hand in training, and so he had to postpone the fight. So Tim Tszyu said he didn't want to stay, he wanted to stay busy. He didn't want to be on the shelf, so he said he wanted to fight. And Tony Harrison stepped up to the plate. Now, it's a dangerous fight because if he loses to Tony Harrison, he loses his spot as that challenger. And then Tony Harrison gets a third fight with Jermell Charlo. Now, Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo fought in 2018, and he beat Jermell Charlo, which Jermell Charlo, to me, won that fight. It was a close fight, but Jermell Charlo definitely pulled it out. He definitely won that fight. They gave it to Tony Harrison. I did not agree with that decision, not even a little bit. But Tony Harrison got the win. He came back in 2019. He said he had some injuries, and the fight was postponed. They fought in 2019. Jermell Charlo stopped him. So now, Tim Tszyu, being a mandatory challenger for Jermell Charlo's belt, Tony Harrison was saying in the interview that if it was him, he wouldn't risk his mandatory status to fight a dangerous opponent like himself. He said if it was him, he would have just waited and wait for Jermell Charlo to get healthy and then get the fight, because it's a dangerous fight. And if you lose your status. And he's right about that. This is a dangerous fight. Tony Harrison can't beat him. He can't beat Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu is 21-0 with 15 knockouts. Tony Harrison is 29-3 with 21 knockouts. But Tony Harrison is a way better boxer. He has been stopped now 3 times. 2015, 2017, 2018, 2019, pardon me. He got stopped by Willie Nelson in 2015. He got stopped by Jarrett Hurd in 2017, former junior middleweight champion. And of course, he got stopped by Jermell Charlo in 2019. So he has been on the canvas. He has been hurt. He has been stopped. But he has great boxing skills, good ring IQ, good height, good reach. I think he definitely can upset Tim Tszyu. And I don't even know if it'll be an upset. It'll probably be an upset as far as the fact that Tim Tszyu is that mandatory challenger, but he's not of no status yet where you could say it's an upset as far as that. But it'll definitely be an upset based on his status right now. And I think Tony Harrison can definitely do that. If he boxes, he has to box him because he comes forward. And he got some pop. His toughest opponent was Jerrell Charlo, but Jerrell Charlo actually dropped him in that fight. He got back up and he finished the fight and he beat him, but, Jerrell Charlo is not even known as a big puncher. Tony Harrison got some pop too. So, if he capitalized, he gonna take him out, he gonna hurt him. If he gonna finish him. So it's definitely a dangerous fight for him, And Tony Harrison said, boxing-wise, it's courageous, but business-wise, it's very stupid. And I mean, I gotta agree with that. You know, it's a dangerous fight. So we're gonna see what happens, man, on March 11th. If Tony Harrison wins, he gets a third fight with Jermell Charlo. I mean, I wasn't really thinking about seeing a third fight with them. I think that, again, that fight was very close. Jermell Charlo won it the first one. The second one, he stopped him. So I don't, I mean, a third fight wouldn't be the worst thing, I think Jermell Charlo gets him out of there quicker. But Tony Harrison is live, man. He's definitely a live dude. Anything could happen. So we're going to see what happens on March 11th. The fight is going to be in Australia. Now, I'm going to say this. He said some things about Tim Tszyu that's true. I'm hoping that he's not making a bad move by fighting Tim Tszyu in Australia, because why would you? My thing is, he's not a champion. He's a challenger to that belt. So he don't really have no clout where you have to even go over there and fight. Now, I would have said that fight should have been over here, because y'all both vying for that title, but he's number one vying for that belt. But why fight him over there? He's not a champion. It's not like he can lure you over there and make you come over there because of anything. So I don't know if that was a good move. So to talk about what he's doing is a stupid business move, I hope there's not a stupid business move for Tony Harrison and his team, okay? Because Tim Tszyu and his team could be making a bad decision by fighting him, but Tony Harrison could be making a bad decision by going to Australia. Another man's country, judges, you never know what could happen. Devin Haney did it twice. He came out good, but that's his story. We don't know if that's going to be the story. That's not going to happen every time. I'm not wishing nothing bad on Tony Harrison. I'm just saying, got to be careful with that, because we don't know what could be in the game. We don't know what could happen. So I wish him the best. I hope it works out well. I know Stephen Fulton is supposedly going to do the same thing when he fights Inoue in Japan, going to another man's country. That means you got to beat him decisively. That means you got to beat him every round. You got to beat the brakes off him. So Tony Harrison, you're going to have to beat the brakes off this dude. You're going to have to really take it to him, outbox him, control the distance. That's how you're going to beat him. You got to control the distance, keep him at bay, throw your jab, throw your counters, throw your combinations, throw your uppercuts. You got a lot going for you. You're going to have to really use it against him and keep him at bay, keep him honest with that power. You got the skills, so just put it to use. I'm looking forward to it. So that's all I got for this evening. Peace and blessings, y'all. And it's Corner Boxing 24. Everybody enjoy the rest of your evening. Please be safe. Peace.